A woman living alone in a small house on the outskirts of town shared that every night she hears a faint giggle coming from the corner of her living room, the same corner where she placed an old doll she had picked up from a thrift market while passing by. At first, she thought it was just the sound of the wind slipping through the door cracks, or maybe an echo from the empty street outside. But then, strange things started happening. A glass of water would tip over when no one was near it. Lights would flicker in the middle of the night, even though the bulbs were new. And most disturbing of all were the recurring dreams. Always the same unfamiliar child's face, silently standing at the foot of her bed, smiling in the dark. After hearing her story, a neighbor advised her to take a closer look at the Feng Shui in her home, because sometimes what seems like a harmless object could actually serve as a gateway, connecting the physical world to energies that do not belong here. After doing some research, she was shocked to discover that certain things, though they may appear simple, can actually become anchors for negative spiritual energy. These objects may unknowingly draw in unwanted energy and disturb the natural peace of a home. So, what items might be quietly inviting bad luck or dark energy into your home without you even knowing? Stay with this video until the end, because each item comes with deep Feng Shui explanations. And once you understand them, you will know how to protect yourself and maintain positive energy for your entire family. But before we go any further, let us start by opening up to positive energy with this affirmation. My home is being cleansed, and the light of peace is returning. And if you believe that Feng Shui can truly shift your destiny, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you do not miss out on more stories and secrets that can help you stay safe, attract prosperity, and find joy in everyday life. Now, let us dive right in. Starting with the very first object. It is something many people see as cute home decor, but in Feng Shui, it is known as a spiritual conductor, a doorway for negative energy to enter. That object is dolls and abandoned stuffed animals. According to traditional Feng Shui beliefs, any object that has once been touched, loved, or emotionally connected to a person will absorb part of that person's emotional energy. Items that were once someone's beloved possessions, especially those of children, often carry a kind of emotional imprint known as emotional key. This is a subtle energy tied to feelings, memories, and consciousness. When the owner leaves or the object is discarded under sorrowful circumstances, that energy does not disappear. Instead, it settles, lingers, and if placed in the right conditions, may transform into a type of negative energy, what some refer to as a spirit residence. Dolls, because of their human-like appearance and glassy eyes that almost seem alive, are especially prone to becoming vessels for this kind of energy. In Feng Shui, anything shaped like a person is believed to reflect energy, and when placed in closed, dark spaces, it tends to absorb the surrounding positive energy, slowly shifting the balance. Over time, this energy shift can cause the people in the home to feel drained, have trouble sleeping, or constantly feel as if they are being watched. There have been cases where someone unknowingly brought home a second-hand doll for decoration, only to notice that within weeks, the entire atmosphere of the house began to change. This is not about superstition. It is about energy. The lingering energy from that object clashed with the home's existing energy. If the house is poorly lit or built on land with a strong presence of negative energy, such as near a hospital, an abandoned lot, or a place where grief once lingered, these conflicts are even more likely to arise. In such cases, the doll becomes more than a decoration. It acts as a conduit for dark energy, weakening the home's positive energy, making wealth harder to retain, and disturbing restful sleep. Stuffed animals are no different. Teddy bears, plush cats, or stuffed pets that were once hugged and cherished absorb a great deal of emotional energy. When these items are later abandoned or bought secondhand, their energy becomes unbalanced. In Feng Shui, this phenomenon is called mixed energy, a chaotic blend of positive and negative energy. If these are kept in a bedroom, especially near the bed, that mixed energy can directly affect sleep quality, causing unexplained fatigue or mental unrest. What is particularly dangerous is when these objects are damaged, missing eyes, torn limbs, or cracked surfaces. In Feng Shui, a human-like figure that is no longer whole is believed to have opened the door to dark energy, because its broken form allows inner energy to leak or be invaded by external forces. Many people report that just by looking into the eyes of an old doll, they get chills, as if something is hiding inside. That feeling is not imagined. It is a natural human response to conflicting energy fields. The solution, according to Feng Shui, is very clear. Never keep dolls or stuffed animals of unknown origin. If you must keep them, make sure they are placed in bright areas with plenty of sunlight and never in the bedroom, especially not near the bed or inside the wardrobe. If an object gives you a heavy or eerie feeling when you look at it, that means it no longer aligns with the energy of your home. And when that happens, it is best to let it go. Number 2. Masks, grotesque statues, and eerie paintings. In many ancient cultures, masks were never just decorations. They were ritual tools, meant to conceal one's identity when communicating with the spirit world. It was believed that when a person wore a mask, they were allowing another spirit to temporarily inhabit their body. That is why every mask used in sacred ceremonies or theatrical performances carries a strong energy, both sacred and potentially dangerous. When such items are brought into a home just for display, their energy, which was never sealed off, continues to radiate, disrupting the energy flow of the space, especially at night. Many people have shared that once they placed strange masks or grotesque statues in their homes, they began to experience sleep disturbances, strange dreams, or a constant feeling of being watched. In Feng Shui, this is known as form energy attraction. The shape of an object determines the kind of energy it attracts. Twisted faces, aggressive eyes, or fierce expressions tend to pull in chaotic energy, creating emotional tension, unease, and even conflict among the people living in the home. Positive energy in a home should flow smoothly and gently, like water. But when objects with distorted forms appear, they break that flow, creating whirlpools of energy that scatter blessings and attract discomfort. When placed in the living room, they can make guests feel uneasy. When placed in the bedroom, they can disrupt the mind and bring nightmares. That is why mystical paintings, deformed statues, or ceremonial masks should never be displayed in homes, especially not in common living spaces. Sometimes, even a cold, piercing gaze on a sculpture can shift the entire room's energy, as if placing a ghostly presence right inside your own home. The tricky part is, the more unique or artistic an object seems, the less people tend to consider the hidden energy it carries. Some artists unknowingly channel extreme emotions, fear, despair, or trauma into their work. According to Feng Shui, those emotions remain embedded in the object, and over time, they begin to affect those who live in the space without them realizing it. The simplest way to tell: just feel it. If a painting or sculpture makes you feel heavy, cold, or uneasy when you look at it, that is your sign that its energy is not compatible with yours. You do not need to be spiritually sensitive to notice this. The human body is the most accurate Feng Shui compass. It always reacts to the energy of its surroundings. Number 3. Bells, drums, and instruments used in spiritual rituals. In ancient belief systems, the sound of bells, drums, and chimes was never just music. These instruments were thought to be the language of the spirit world. Each beat, each vibration, had the power to stir energy between realms, opening portals of energy where the physical and the spiritual could meet. In many cultures, bells were used to summon spirits, guide souls, or invite spiritual presence, depending on the ritual's purpose. These instruments were crafted to special frequencies and often spiritually activated to resonate with sacred spaces. When the ceremony ends, that energy does not simply vanish. It lingers in the instrument, like warmth left behind by a fire long extinguished. The problem starts when these items are removed from their sacred settings and placed casually into everyday environments. A bronze bell once used in a soul-calling ritual, when hung in a home for decoration, still carries its activation frequency. Every time a breeze flows through, the soft chime it releases stirs the surrounding energy, like an invisible invitation, causing unsettling shifts in the room. In Feng Shui, this is called reverse energy vibration, when an object emits a frequency incompatible with the home's positive energy. A house is meant to hold life energy, human energy, but when it contains items tied to spiritual rituals, that energy can become misaligned. Restlessness, chills, mood swings, these are often the first signs. Over time, the home's energy field becomes unstable, leading to poor sleep, weakened health, and even bad luck. The best advice is to avoid keeping or displaying musical instruments once used in ritual ceremonies. If you must keep them, cleanse them with incense smoke or candlelight, then store them in a sealed box, placed in a high, dry area away from daily living spaces. When discarding them, never throw them away casually. Wrap them carefully and send them to a place where they can be respectfully burned or ritually cleansed. Sound is vibration, a bridge between two worlds. And when these ceremonial instruments appear in your home, they do not just make noise. They awaken energies that were never meant to be disturbed. That is why, sometimes, all it takes is a small bell, ringing in the dead of night, for the entire house to feel strangely unsettled. Number 4. Old photos or belongings of strangers or the deceased who are not properly honored. Every object once tied to a person carries traces of their energy, fragments of memory, emotion, and spirit. When that person passes away, their photos, keepsakes, or belongings become vessels for the energy left behind. If placed with care, in bright, respectful spaces, the energy gradually settles. But when these items are stored carelessly, in closets or among everyday objects, their energy can stagnate, becoming what Feng Shui calls residual yin energy, which makes the home feel heavy and dull. Picture an old, faded photograph. When you look at it, it may feel like the eyes are still watching you, even though you know the person is gone. That is not just imagination. In Feng Shui, the eyes symbolize spirit. Through photos, this lingering presence can form subtle energetic ties with the living. When belongings of the deceased, especially if not properly honored, are kept in active spaces like the living room, work desk, or near the bed, they begin to merge with the home's living energy. It might start quietly, but over time, The imbalance drains vitality from those in the space. You may feel sadness, fatigue, or loneliness without understanding why. Sometimes, sorrow stored in these items seeps into you, even if it is not your own. Even more concerning are items from strangers, clothes, jewelry, or portraits. You have no way of knowing their past or what energy clings to them. Lingering sorrow, anger, or trauma may still be attached. Once brought home, such items become anchors for negative energy, blocking new and vibrant energy from flowing. Homes filled with these objects often feel gloomy, tense, and unnaturally cold. Feng Shui gives clear guidance. Only keep a deceased person's belongings if they are sacred and properly honored. Ancestral photos should be placed in a dedicated space, above eye level, with light and incense to uplift their energy. Items no longer used should be wrapped respectfully and buried in clean soil or taken to a peaceful place. Never discarded casually. And when it comes to a stranger's things, the safest choice is not to keep them at all, no matter how beautiful or valuable they seem. Many people say that after removing old photos or unknown items, their homes feel lighter, brighter, and more peaceful, as if the space itself had been set free. Number 5. Empty jars, bottles, and vases. In ancient wisdom, bottles and vases were not just decorative. They were believed to be containers of energy. But here's the issue. Energy itself does not distinguish between good and bad. If a vase is placed in a bright area full of life, it may store positive energy like a little reservoir of blessings. But if left empty in a dark corner, where negative energy tends to gather, it can turn into a storage tank for stagnant energy, weighing the space down. Feng Shui explains this using the principle of energy accumulation by shape. Any enclosed object naturally gathers energy inside. An empty container that holds no water, flowers, or seeds allows energy to sit still. And when energy stagnates too long, it becomes yin, creating a cold, heavy atmosphere. Older vases or antique jars that have passed through many hands may also carry emotional residue from their previous owners, making them hotspots for mixed or chaotic energy. You might ask, it's just an empty vase. How can it affect my luck? The answer is simple. Any empty space draws in surrounding energy. If that vase sits near a bathroom, in a dark corner, or under the staircase, places that naturally accumulate low energy, it will soak up that negativity and store it over time, forming a stale energy pocket. That is why Feng Shui always advises against keeping too many empty jars or vases in the home, especially in areas like the living room, kitchen, or bedroom, places that require strong, clean energy flow. If you want to keep them for decoration, place something inside. Purified water, a few green leaves, or a clear crystal. Even a small detail can transform a stagnant void into a source of fresh life energy. As for broken or chipped jars, it is best to discard them. Once cracked, their internal energy leaks out, destabilizing the surrounding energy field. Many people notice a gloomy feeling during rainy days or at night when keeping such items. Removing them can brighten your space, allowing positive energy to flow freely and fill your home with vitality. Number 6. Talismans or charms of unknown origin. Among all spiritual objects, few are as powerful as talismans. For thousands of years, they have served as bridges between human intent and universal energy. When created with sincerity and proper knowledge, a talisman can protect, balance, and harmonize. But because they hold concentrated energy, talismans can become risky, especially when their origin is unknown or they are used incorrectly. In such cases, they may act as open gateways, drawing unwanted energy into the home. Talismans are not decorations. They are living objects, carrying the energy and intention of their maker. If made with pure intent, they offer protection. But if created for profit, manipulation, or darker motives, they may attract negative forces. Many people buy talismans from markets or online without knowing their true purpose. The result? Their homes start to feel heavy, sleep becomes difficult, and even pets may act oddly. In Feng Shui, a home is a yang space, filled with light, warmth, and harmony. Objects with overly dark or intense energy can disrupt that balance. This is especially true for talismans used in spiritual rituals. These items already carry a sacred connection, and if not sealed properly, their energy may drift, attracting forces that should not be there. Some refer to this as energy-draining talismans, items that pull in the home's positive energy to sustain themselves, leaving the space feeling depleted. How can you tell if a talisman is harmful? Trust your instincts. If touching or even looking at it gives you a headache, chills, or unease, it is a sign of mismatch. In that case, never burn, tear, or throw it away. Instead, wrap it in red cloth or clean white paper, sprinkle it with coarse salt, and bury it in clean, quiet soil. Afterward, open your windows to let fresh air in, and light an incense stick to refresh the space. Also, remember, even real talismans do not last forever. When their energy fades, they can stop working, or worse, start attracting the wrong kind of energy. That is why many Feng Shui masters advise respectfully retiring or dissolving talismans after 1 year, returning them to a neutral state to prevent buildup of harmful energy. Number 7. Items used in funerals. In every culture, funerals are sacred events, a time to bid farewell as a soul leaves the physical world. That is why every item used during such ceremonies is deeply soaked with death energy, the energy of endings. Once the ritual is complete, things like mourning clothes, funeral veils, incense, candles, or coffin drapes have served their purpose. If kept at home, they are no longer just mementos. They become lingering ties to the spiritual realm, holding the door open to energy that should have passed on. According to Feng Shui, funeral-related items are among the strongest carriers of yin energy. They absorb not only the sadness of the living, but also traces of the departed. Bringing them into a space meant for life creates an energetic clash. At first, you may feel a chill or unease, but over time, it can darken the mood, weaken life force, and affect health. Mourning clothes are especially risky to keep. They absorb tears, breath, and sorrow throughout the funeral. That energy stays in the fabric, turning them into vessels of heavy emotion. Even when hidden in a closet, they continue to emit low frequencies, making the home feel cold and lifeless. That is why flickering lights or withering plants are common when these items remain. Funeral scarves and other smaller objects have a similar effect. They were meant to guide the spirit and connect family during rituals. Once the ceremony ends, they should be spiritually retired. If kept, they leave a symbolic door open, often making people feel uneasy or sense a presence nearby. Even incense and candles used in ceremonies must be treated carefully. During the ritual, they light the way for the soul. But afterward, their energy lingers, like a dying ember, disturbing the energy balance at home. You may notice the air feels heavier, or the room looks dim, even with lights on. The solution is simple, but requires sincerity. All funeral-related items should be returned to stillness. Burn them in a ventilated space with coarse salt or sacred incense to neutralize the energy, or bury them in clean soil, away from everyday living areas. Then open the windows, let in fresh air, and light a new incense stick to welcome renewed energy. Honoring the dead is not about holding on to objects. It is about creating peace for the living and serenity for those who have passed. When these items are released properly, their ties dissolve, bringing clarity to the home and comfort to the heart. In the end, Feng Shui is not a mystery. It is the art of keeping life energy flowing cleanly and naturally. Everything in your home speaks. Sometimes, what seems lifeless is silently shaping your mood, your health, and even your fate. When you start listening, you will see. Cleaning is not just physical. It is a form of soul cleansing. Remember, your home is not just a shelter. It is a living space reflecting your spirit. Keeping it bright and balanced is how you stay protected, peaceful, and in flow with good fortune. Take a moment to slow down. Observe each corner. Where feels heavy? Where feels light? Your answer lies in that first feeling. If you begin to notice a shift, a soft breeze, a calming silence, or even just a deeper, more restful sleep, that is your sign. Your home has been cleansed, and from that moment, everything good can start to flow your way. Health, luck, and more harmonious relationships. Before we wrap up, take a moment to speak a positive affirmation to reinforce this fresh, healthy energy for yourself. Something like, "My home is glowing with peace, blessings, and prosperity." If you found this video helpful, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you do not miss out on more mysterious Feng Shui stories, where even the smallest details in your home may hold big secrets about your energy and your future. Because sometimes, peace does not come from faraway things. It simply comes from knowing how to keep your home and your heart clean and full of light.